Hey everyone, I'm Victor Dwyer, and today this is the Failures and Wins podcast, where we get the latest entrepreneurs, the latest people, and we just talk about their failures, their wins, what they went through, and ways they got around it. And we're also going to dive into some Amazon marketing funnel stuff, Amazon advertising. Today I have Will. He's awesome. We've talked in the past all the time. And we're just gonna dive right in, and Will's gonna tell us a little about how who he is, what he does. And yeah, Will, thank you so much for coming on today.
Heck yeah, Victor, thanks for having me. I'm pumped to be here and talk about a lot of my favorite topics: business develop, Amazon marketing, a little bit of advertising. Sounds like we got a lot to cover in about an hour.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, tell us a little bit about yourself. Let's do it.
Cool. Yeah, let's do it. So, I'm the CEO and co-founder of Bellavix. We are a marketplace management agency, and we're hyper focused on Amazon and Walmart. We've been an agency since 2018, but I have been in the space since about 2008, 2009. So, have a lot of experience with advertising on and off of Amazon, and specifically some of the tactics that I've learned over time that we now apply as part of our processes here at Bellavix. So really excited to be here, and like I said, excited to kind of dive deep into some of these problems that I'm sure a lot of your audience has in terms of like, hey, we're not hitting scale, or like, what does it mean to be brand building? So
Yeah,
these are a lot of the questions we get that I'm sure a lot of people tuning in have as well.
yeah. And I love to start out with the failures. Is there any particular thing that was a huge roadblock when it comes to building up your business? Whether if it was like losing like 10 clients at one time, or what if it was COVID, whatever it may have been, was there any roadblock that you had to overcome that was a big impedient on your success that you kind of navigated, and like how you navigated that, how you pivoted, if it was a pivot, whatever it may have been? Was there a point in your business career that happened?
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure it happens to everybody. So I'd say
Yeah.
I'm no snowflake here for sure. But a specific instance for us. So coming, starting your own agency and kind of going out and doing your own thing. You're pretty much a glorified consultant, and that's kind of what I was early on. And with the,
Yeah.
the glorified consultant also comes like saying yes to everything, and that was a big challenge. So we came on. My superpowers is advertising, specifically advertising on marketplaces, but we would do really well with these clients. And of course, logically, they're like, hey, Will crushes it on Amazon ads. Why can't he do TikTok, or why can't he do Google? And early on, you're like, hey, I got a family to feed, so let's do it. I'll take it. But all in all, it's like you don't know how the system works. You don't know what good returns are. And you're doing this with clients that are expecting a certain level of results. So early
Yeah.
on, saying yes to everything actually hurt us. It cost us in hours. It was improperly priced, so we weren't profitable, and we just had a lot of issues. So what we've learned, and we've actually started to apply the entrepreneur operating system through Gino Wickman's book Traction. Started applying some of those concepts. We started working
Yeah.
with a business coach. We started building out, what is our brand messaging? What is our ideal client profile? And then what is our superpowers? What do we do? And then what do we say no to? So the
Yeah.
biggest lesson for me is just when to say no. So that I would say is the biggest learning opportunity. And we have lost clients from saying yes to too much, sinking a couple of ships, and then being like, you know what, maybe you shouldn't do that anymore.
Yeah. Ezra Firestone said this really well about how in a service-based business, you always say yes, 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 yes to everything. You have to have clear guidelines of saying, yes, we are going to do this within this within this retainer, and then anything outside of that is like where you have to start talking about like increasing it and things like that, and like
Yeah.
saying no, we're not going to do that on this particular thing, because it can get really hard by saying yes to everything, and you have to know, like saying yes, I'll do that. No, I won't do that, and it's hard. Yes,
Oh yeah. And scope
especially when you have a
creep's a
good
problem.
relationship.
Yep, absolutely. Scope creep's a big problem. And as you know, like, we measure profitability by the amount of resources we put in a product. We have clients that wouldn't sell product for a long period of time at a loss. So we wouldn't do the same thing on the services side.
Yeah, 100%. And when it comes to like obviously when you are an entrepreneur and things like that, you learn a lot about yourself of what you're good at and what you're bad at. For example, my weaknesses is I figured out I am a horrible communicator via text, via copy. So like if I was trying to email you to explain something, anything after two sentences looks like a sixth grader wrote it. I'll be 100% honest. That's me. But when it comes to communicating via video, via words, that is how I excel as a communicator. So that is my like weaknesses and strengths that I found in myself. Is there any weaknesses that you saw when it comes to creating business, whether it is like looking at the finances or whatever it may have been, that you saw that you kind of figured out in your journey?
Absolutely. So we have a lot of time, so I'm just gonna list it all out here of everything I'm not good at. It's a long list, guys. Trust me. Uh, I'm kidding, but you hit it. So like there's this premise that you should focus on your skills that are weak, and we did that for a while. Like I'm terrible with the accounting and finances. I'm fairly detailed, but I'm not a great project manager. My operations team, like on point. They're really great at systemizing things, processing things out, building standard operating procedures. Not my strong suit. So we've learned over time is like you should put people where they're going to excel, and you should just double down on your superpower. And in my
Yeah.
case, my superpower is around marketing and advertising, doing a lot of talking like we're doing now.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I excel. So in my role in the business owner, I really focus on the sales and marketing side of the business, and that was an evolution, and it took us time to get here with lots of mistakes along the way.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. And going into like hiring, hiring has been a big area of concern right now when it comes to labor shortages, increased inflation. So everyone's asking for $300,000, whatever it may be. Like when it comes to hiring, how do you hire? Is there a different way you look at it when it comes to looking at the person based off their experience? What do you have a different approach when it comes to hiring?
Yeah, I think so. We use something called predictive analytics. Specifically, the software we use is Culture Index. It's a veteran-owned organization, so always promoting our veteran organizations. But it uses predictive analytics to give us an idea of who's going to excel at this role. So we have enough employees that inside who work with Bellavix that we have essentially their personality traits. And for
Hmm.
example, we know somebody in a specialist role as a craftsman. And in terms of craftsmen, they're really good at executing and they love the art of, for example, advertising and getting into PPC. So when I'm hiring a specialist position, I'm looking for somebody who is going to be a craftsman. They're going to be really detail oriented. They may be introverted and not the best to be in front of clients, but they love the craft. They love execution. And putting those people in those roles and also assigning them task rocks, like these different KPIs around their strengths, we tend to get
Hmm.
a lot better results. We also tend to have employees that stick around a lot longer because we're putting them in positions where they can succeed instead of like me early on, where startup you work in every position. So when I was handling accounting, I was failing over and over again. And
Yeah.
now we have a bookkeeper, so I have somebody who just has that under wraps.
You said something really interesting, how you give different KPIs based off different employees and what they do and their strengths. That's really fascinating. So it would be like the person that's like very like introverted and developer, I call them developer brain type people, where they
Yep.
like the PPC side, where that's where they would have saying, hey, like make sure you decrease A costs and things like that. But
Yep.
then the account manager has another set of KPIs like client retention, and everything else like that. So that's really fascinating because usually businesses kind of say, hey, just like make the client happy, and that's their KPI. So that's really
Yeah.
fascinating that you have
And
different
absolutely,
KPIs.
to be clear, we have like internal KPIs. So like a craftsman might be building something where his goal is to shave 25% time off of our bid optimization. So that might be an example of a task they have. The client task comes down to their KPIs. Of course, we want happy clients and The project manager will kind of dictate what that might look like from that threshold. But we do have, we have internal KPIs, and we try, like I said, to put people along the lines of where their strengths are.
Yeah, that's amazing. Cool. That's really neat. And then kind of diving into Amazon, Amazon marketing. So, like Prime Day was a really, really big success. I did a LinkedIn poll about I got like 200 votes on it, something crazy.
Nice.
And it sounded like people usually got around a 50% to 100% increase on sales. But we saw a lot more than that with other clients. One client, they saw huge, like we saw almost like 7x 10x's on this Prime Day. So yeah, like it was a very successful. Question, do you think Prime Day 2 is going to have the same level of results this close, or do you think it's going to be a decreased version of that? What are your thoughts on Prime Day 2.0?
Well, I'm an internal optimist, and I've drank the Amazon Kool-Aid, so of course I think it's gonna go. But all joking aside, buyer fatigue is like it's a real thing, and that's a concern. So on top
Yep.
of the Prime Day, they have the beauty haul back to back in October. Then you have your Turkey 5, and then December is going to be just in general. It's a busy time. What's nice in 2020, they ran the Prime Day in October, and we saw firsthand that Prime Day in October did not affect sales for T5, the Turkey 5 holiday, and into December. So based on that data, based on what historical data says, I believe it's going to get hyped up. We're telling friends and family as they ask, Prime Day 2.0, mark it on your calendar, it's coming. So I think a lot of people will get excited. And what I like about the Prime Days, it's like it's an excuse for the normal consumer to kind of spoil themselves. Will we get a lot of holiday shopping? Probably, but I still feel like T5 and through December is when a lot of us wait to the last minute. I do all my Christmas shopping like a week before Christmas starts. Guilty. If it wasn't
Yeah.
for my wife, everybody would be getting something from the gas station as I go on my way to their house.
Oh my goodness.
So
Yeah.
but I mean, so I don't think we'll see buyer fatigue, and I think my hypothesis, of course, I think the shopping habits we saw in July are going to carry over in October. So if I'm giving any advice to any brands that are prepping, look at your July data, look at what keywords converted, make sure that you're using portfolios, make sure you're putting extra budget aside, and make sure you're participating in all of the different features that Amazon has, whether it's Prime Day deals, whether you're running coupons, access to different programs like Born to Run or whatever else they might have going on. So we highly recommend. We grow brands on marketplaces. So if they're going to host some type of holiday, we're going to have our brands participate. We're going to measure the effectiveness of this, and if it comes back, we ran a bunch of lightning deals for a specific category of brands, and across the board we noticed that they really weren't that successful. We'll learn from that. It's not like we won't participate. Maybe we'll run coupons so it's performance based, and we're not forking over a bunch of money to Amazon, because they certainly have enough to go around. So that's my hypothesis on Prime Day 2.0, and I'm excited. So we're probably kick off Christmas shopping early, but I'm probably also lying to you.
And like what's surprising is like when it comes to Black Friday, unless you're a tech product, I don't see like Black Friday, Cyber Monday, I don't see that good of results anymore. So when I go to clients, I say like, hey, like that Black Friday budget, like let's just shift that to Prime Day, because usually our Prime Days are usually 3 times bigger in sales than a Black Friday sale. I don't know if you see something different, like in a non-tech space, but for the most part, Black Friday is really like, at least last year, Black Friday wasn't that big for us. It was mostly all Prime Days. We see way, way bigger increases on Prime Days than Black Fridays usually. What about you?
I agree with that, and it's not like you shouldn't participate in T5, but like
Yes.
split your budget
Sure.
accordingly. Like they're in market shoppers shopping for your product. You want to make sure you're showing up and owning page results. Like, to be clear, but yeah, you got to think about it too. Like Prime Day is positioned as an Amazon holiday. What's nice
Sure.
about Prime Day with some of the brands we work with is that generally they're really hesitant about cross-channel promotions. They're really hesitant about promoting something on their website, their email list, on their social media. But when Prime Day rolls around, it's time to celebrate Amazon. So we generally are able
Yeah.
to get a lot more push from off Amazon sources. which I believe leads to better results. Whereas in T5, they they want people on their website. Retention marketing, capturing email addresses, better lifetime value and tracking. So like, of course, there's going to be less budget, but keep in mind, Amazon has the trust. They have a great customer experience, and people they're gonna check reviews. They're gonna see if they can get it faster. So like, it the shift that needs to happen is that e-commerce shoppers are omni-channel shoppers. They're gonna go to different channels, and the higher that price point is, the more research they're gonna do prior to making a purchase. So you need to get in front of these people earlier and earlier. And some of the topics we might discuss today is that full funnel advertising and marketing. So like, what does it look like to attract somebody when they're just interested, or if they don't even know they have the problem? How do you introduce a product so that they're like, holy crap, I need this. I can't believe, sham wow, I can't believe I don't have this.
And yeah, that's what I'd call the difference between a convenience-based product and a search intent-based product. So a search intent-based product would be like, I need a bed sheet. Like I need a bed sheet right now. I need one for my bed. I just moved in. I need to find this right now. And then a convenience-based product might be a portable battery charger. Like you don't like you like, it's like something, oh wow, I didn't even know that existed. That's really cool to have. I would like that product. And like having that, once you know if it's a convenience-based product, then from there you can deploy like DSP, some other external traffic, kind of what you're saying, that external marketing analysis, saying, hey, reaching out to those people and informing what their product exists, then pulling them in. So yeah, I'd love for you to dive into what that full funnel marketing looks like through like DSP, Amazon ads, to like pull them in as a customer.
Hell yeah. And it actually, like, there's the organic side of it, and then there's the advertising side. So really quick on the organic side, it's like having your brand name in the title, having an optimized title, leveraging all of your bullets, being aware of the mobile user, which I think at this point is above 50% of users on Amazon, if I'm still correct. I think Feedvisor's last report called that out. And having A+ content, having a branded storefront, updating it as you go. So, you have the bones there that if you're driving traffic, and then on the back end too, your listing attributes, make sure that they're filled out correctly. They will directly impact your SEO. Amazon's updating them all the time, so it's important to have that in. Proper catalog alignment, making sure parent-children products are aligned properly. So like, there's a lot of the infrastructure that should be in place before you're just like, let's put some gas on the fire. But now let's put some gas on the fire and talk about advertising. So what does that mean? So like, if you came to work for Bellavix as like a client, and we get this a lot, like, especially, if I'm tying a price point or a sales threshold, if you're doing about $500,000 a year on Amazon, you're at a point where you're kind of ready. What we find with a lot of brands that come to us is that they're kind of hit that threshold. They're like, we're doing $500,000. We've worked with a bunch of different people, and we just can't get the scale we're looking for. And 9 times out of 10, we find that like, they're just focusing on the bottom of the funnel. They're not fueling the top. No prospecting going on. So their pool's always limited, and the pool's getting more saturated because more competitors are coming in. It's becoming, even more and more harder to have the direct to consumer is becoming more and more challenging. And it's noted. There's different influencers talking about it. So essentially, like, if you come in, it's important to establish a baseline. So like, we like to use TACOS, total advertising cost of sale. You don't know what that is, total spend divided by total sales. It gives us the ability to understand what that halo effect is. Amazon is one of the few platforms that will reward sales behavior. So if I get a sale from off of Amazon, if I get a sale from doing anything else from advertising or whatever else, it will improve my organic ranking because Amazon knows I'm going to sell really well for these products. So like, you can literally train the A9 algorithm to show your products at the perfect time. And of course, it's not a perfect art, but there's nuances. You have to massage it. But that's your bottom of the funnel. So if you came to work with an agency like Bellavix, we'd be like, okay, bottom of the funnel, we can get you 10% TACOS, and your cost per acquisition is this. And then it's like, well, you have 20% margin to work with. So then we know we have 10% margin to start working up that funnel, in market, contextual. And what DSP does that's great, and to tie it back to Amazon's methodology, it's the better together methodology. Um,
Yeah.
but what it does, it gives us the ability to target these customers that have shown intent on and off of Amazon and
Hmm.
continue to pepper them with ads, conveniently and not in a way that's too disruptive. But they know that, hey, I've recently looked at this product, I've looked at competitor products, and to get you into that consideration phase so that you can get more sales that in the long run. So like a
Yeah.
big piece of that is, of course, like building out these different audiences and then slowly kind of manipulating the data so that you could start working up the funnel. And when we achieve real scale and we get the acceleration that we're looking for, it's when we're able to go top to bottom of the funnel. We're able to do lifestyle. We're able to target demographics. We're able to build affinity audiences off of your website using pixels. So then we have all these tools. And if you layer it even more, because I know, Victor, what you do great on your end is some of that TikTok advertising and some of that social media stuff. You
Yeah.
start layering that up, working with an agency that's really capable of doing that. You're just funneling that top of the funnel. And like I said, drive them to your website from off, drive them wherever you want. But understand like that it's all working towards that brand equity and building that brand. And it takes time. So
Hmm.
when we work with brands, typically it's like a 12 to 18 month process where we're able to implement this and get incremental growth in sales. But across the board, we 5, 6, 7x growth within that time period because we're doing that full funnel, because they're selling a great product, because their listing infrastructure is in place, and because we're driving very relevant traffic strategically to there, and we're prospecting. So as seasons come around, like Prime Day 2.0 is right around the corner. It's September. If you haven't already, you should be prospecting. You should already be like, I need to give a little margin so that I could just fill my pool up. Because I know come whenever they announce it, October, 12th, 13th, whatever the dates are, haven't been announced yet. Totally an example. Then I know I could just flip that switch. Right when it goes over, we can go, okay, prospecting, retargeting, and we just pepper them with ads and get them while they're intrigued by the market. They're going to go on and look. They're going to see your ads. They're going to engage your ads. You're going to get the best return on ad spend during those periods. But you had to eat it for 2 to 4 weeks as you built your prospecting pool, got people interested. And as a shopper, we do it before Prime Day. I looked at everything I wanted to buy. I popped it in the
Hmm.
cart. If it wasn't running a coupon or a lightning deal, I probably didn't buy it unless I really, really wanted it. But if it was running a deal, it ended up in my shopping cart and it's probably in my house somewhere.
100%. It really comes down to, are you an Amazon seller or are you a brand? Like it's about that's the difference. Are you just trying to sell on Amazon and increase the sales the most, or are you trying to really build a brand through social media and like really grow your brand recognition, so when people do see you on Amazon, do see you in this full funnel analysis, they're going to pick you because you have that prominent brand. And that's what, there's so many competitors now and so many Chinese sellers that'll undercut your price and things like that. Brand is really all there is now. Like
Seriously.
that's the reason why people buy things. And if you have like, Chinese sellers will always find a way to get their product cheaper. So at that point, you have to have a brand. If you don't,
Yeah.
there's no reason why someone's going to buy you versus a Chinese seller if your brand sucks. Like you have
Yep.
to have a decent brand. Whereas people say, "Oh, I know that brand. I know that Nike shoe. I want that one instead." And like building brand, especially in 2022, it's like it's a must, like an
Yep.
absolute must at this point.
And to be honest with you, most of the stuff's made overseas anyway. So like the
Yeah.
branding is what justifies a higher price point, what justifies coming in and having these nuances that are a competitive advantage. So Victor, I think you hit it right on the head. And what's interesting, and we don't work with resellers at all, but it seems like that that business model is
Mhm.
slowly phasing out. Maybe it's more of an eBay or different type of marketplace thing, but it appears to be getting perpetually harder to be able to scale if you don't have some type of competitive advantage, if you're not building your brand. And generally, that's something the business owners have to take into account.
Yeah, we work with clients all the time that do wholesale and that do sell to other resellers, but the amount of headaches it comes with that, like with enforcing MAP pricing, then you have to
Oh
worry
God.
about like all the buy box, and then they want exclusive products, and
Yeah.
then you have to worry about like it's just a million headaches come with resellers and things like that, and it's just not worth it. It's better to own your listing. Now, keep in mind, selling on Amazon sucks. Like let's get just like it sucks to sell on Amazon. Like there's a reason why we're in business, because it sucks so much
It's
to sell
true.
on Amazon. But like the amount of headaches that resellers saying, "Oh, hey, we'll sell on Amazon for you so you don't have to deal with it." That's nice, but it comes with a lot of headaches. So it's like it's important to have a good team behind Amazon, so that way you don't have to deal with it and you get all the sales benefit from it. So that's a little bit better way to approach it rather than being a reseller, because it sucks. It really does.
Yeah.
So I don't
And
recommend working with resellers.
you hit on that too, map pricing, because we work with some retail brands that are in on Amazon, but also in brick and mortar retail.
Yeah.
And the map pricing can be a nightmare. And if the business doesn't have a good a good enforcement in place and good tracking, so what we find a lot with the resellers that we have a lot of problems with is that they have wholesale contracts and they sell it, and their immediate distributors will honor those policies, but now they're wholesaling to other wholesalers, and those people might care less about your brand equity. Not to mention what it does to contribution. So if you have a listing that the title keeps changing, even if you're brand registered, title, images changing, there are people who like will do some pretty black hat things. I've seen like change the image to a completely unrelated product. But it's because if you have so many sellers, 15, 16 sellers on a listing, Amazon, the algorithm's like, oh, this guy's got history. It's got what? And even though you're brand registered, it'll forget. And like we work with some of these brands, we're going in, at least once a week saying, Amazon, we're the contributor. Please change this back, so on and so forth. So it's almost to your point, having an integrated team who understands the holistic approach of what needs to happen, the brand experience for the end user, so that it's consistent from your website, your social media, Walmart, Amazon. Like those are all big pieces that might be missing. And to chime in, because like third party sellers is a real thing. The other side of that, what we find is when larger agencies take over, so they might buy your product wholesale. And this is a great model for somebody who doesn't have time to actually like go in and do the nuances. So maybe you're a startup brand. You're like, hey, I got great website sales. I know I need to be on Amazon, but like, it's me and 3 people, and we just don't have that area. So there are these, I don't know if they're aggregators, wholesalers, but they will buy your product in bulk and they'll sell it. And what we find over and over again when customers move from those types of situations and look for in-house solutions is that if it's not selling really well, if it doesn't have good brand equity, generally it's neglected. So
Sure.
you'll find that the listings don't have good bullets. You'll have like 2 images. They'll be advertising on it because it's your money, and you're not getting the conversion rate you need. And then you'll come to an agency and be like, yeah, I mean, I guess Amazon's good, but like, I never see sales on it. And it's like, yeah, of course you haven't. You haven't invested in it, so you're not going to
Yeah.
see the sales. So like, there is a purpose for all these, and then there's like the other side where it's a really large brand and they're buying an Amazon store that's already doing really well, and that's a completely different topic. But like, those are the scenarios. So like, to be aware of like what your options are. And that third party seller is not always a bad thing, but to your point, Victor, it's the control of your distribution and understanding where it goes. Because if you don't have it and it gets messy, you're gonna have to hire a legal group. You're gonna have to go into the weeds and actually create these policies and then enforce them, police them and enforce them. And that itself could be a full-time job. So just to
Oh
give
yeah.
some context of like some of the heartaches you might have if you're just willy-nilly with your brand and letting anybody kind of pick it up and take it.
Yeah, 100%. So we actually got a question from our audience. So the audience is Ruben asked how third party sellers can influence the listing page if you are authorized brand registry user. How would you want to answer this?
Yeah, I mean, it's through the Amazon's algorithm. So to be honest with you, I don't know specifically. They never sent me the A9 documentation that I've been asking so long for. So I'm not sure exactly what goes into it, but like we have brands that this happens to all the time. Generally, like one seller, as long as you're not competing on price, like if they're priced higher, 95, 99% of the time, it's not an issue. It's when you start getting multiple sellers that we notice consistent issues. So,
Mhm.
generally more than 10, to be honest with you. But,
Yeah.
you want no resellers. You want to own that experience.
Mhm.
So hopefully that
It,
answers your question, Ruben.
and when it comes to the contribution, there's a point system. I forgot what the exact points are, but I'll list them in order. So there's resellers, there's then it goes the brand registry, then it goes like the brand registry, that's the second level, and then the third level is like Amazon seller support. Amazon
Mm,
seller support can override things, and then it goes Amazon brand registry team, and then the final option is the retail team. I don't even know what that means. I don't even know what a retail team is in Amazon, but so they obviously have some crazy thing that they can change. So that's basically the levels of, so like a third party person could come on and make that change, and so they can submit the change. But if anything over brand registry people will take over. Seller support can override what the brand registry person says, and then brand registry can override seller support, and then the retail team can override everyone. So that's the way I know how to look at it when it comes to contributions. So basically, third party resellers can still technically speak to seller support and override brand registry changes, but usually when they submit them, it doesn't get approved unless they know how to speak Amazon.
yeah.
If they speak Amazon saying, "Hey, this will improve the customer experience if you do this," then seller support will say yes and actually put it through. But usually you have to third parties aren't that smart about how to speak Amazon because it is a
I think you hit
language.
it
Yeah.
hit it on the head too. We just need the hierarchy built out, but really interesting. And on our end too, we normally skip seller support, go right to brand registry. Tends to
Yeah.
work better, but you do have to speak the Amazon language. You hit it on the head for a better customer experience, and you could call it out. Really almost anything with seller support. If it's a poor customer experience, it tends to get pushed to the top. So that's a really good tip for anybody who's in the midst of case management, and hopefully it's quick and painless because it can be terrible.
Yeah, and let's be honest, we all have to send support cases to Amazon. We all
Yeah.
that's the thing that sucks the most, and why like Amazon will rant like the pesticide crisis that everyone
Oh,
went through
geez.
when everyone got marked as pesticides. Like it's just like why do that? But then everyone had to submit cases. Then Amazon said,
Yeah.
"Hey, you have to take this course," even though like
Yeah.
it made no sense. So everyone had to take the pesticide course. It's just like a huge headache, but like it's something that we all have to deal with on not at a daily basis, definitely a weekly basis
Yeah.
of the latest Amazon support case of the latest issue that randomly gets thrown our way.
Yeah. And it's always changing. It's always something
Oh
new, which
yeah,
is great. It's why we can exist and stay in business. But it's just the nuances. It's its own ecosystem. And with 50% of US e-commerce sales, they could take their bowl and go home, and we would be missing out on a lot of business.
true, 100%, 100%. And when it comes to operations, Amazon operations, is there any new reports and features, whether if it's account health or whatever related, that you are looking at that is insightful and helpful?
The account health, the new dashboard. I know, I don't remember off the top of my head. They removed a few inventory and different reports, and they've come out with this new account health rating system, and it's like green, yellow, red. Find it a lot more useful because before you had to be pretty technical, but now it's pretty clear, and especially like when clients they might get panicked about something and think it's a bigger deal than it is. You could still show them, hey, we're still healthy, things are still looking good. And then of course wrote like the opportunities explorer is a great tool. They've launched some new features around the brand analytics. I love that they have the full funnel
Yeah,
approach, but you can also now through the search term report kind of reverse engineer how large the market is and what your share of voice is, and you can use that to kind of figure out like what's the opportunity for me, how big is this market an opportunity, and how much should I double down around a specific keyword. So what's been really amazing And Q4 every year they roll out like hundreds of new features because they're like, sell more products on Amazon, and we're like,
Yeah.
yes. So so like
Yeah.
these, I mean, but it's becoming a lot easier. Like when we first started doing this, when I first started doing it 10 years ago, it was hard. It was hard to measure lifetime value. It was hard to explain the concepts like full funnel and understanding lifetime value and everything else that goes into it. And Amazon's starting to give us some of these tools to be more like Google Analytics. Hopefully, that's not a curse word on these webinars. Uh,
Yeah.
but it gives us as advertisers, but also as executioners, the right data to tell the right story, so that they understand what's going on in the account. So it's like a very exciting time to be in this, because it's been so hard to explain some of these concepts. But now we could back it with data. We could show you what it looks like. We could show you what the opportunity is. Reverse engineer CPCs. We could come up with forecasts and budgets, and we could say, this is what we think we could do given this. And it's fantastic. It truly is.
The hardest thing for people on Amazon is the reporting. Like, think
Yeah.
about it. If you want to get everything is so scattered. Like, it really is. Like, finding Amazon data, like if you want to get product sales, you have to go in another place. If you want overall account sales, you have to go in this place. And if you want to see lifetime, but like I don't even think they give you lifetime. Like everything is so scattered around. And what it's been super helpful for me is creating an actionable dashboard where it's everything's in one place where you can see, oh, this is this, and like where it's not just random data points that, like, because when you put too many data points on a dashboard, it's all just like your brain doesn't digest it. It's like oh,
Yeah.
numbers, cool. That's like, if you put too many numbers on an Excel sheet, no one's going to look at it. But if you make the dashboard actionable, saying, okay, we spent this and got this out of it, and like, here's our lifetime value per product. Oh, let's invest more in product A instead of product B. Like, then those are actionable decisions that you're making, and having that actionable dashboard has been super, super helpful. So I'm a big fan. I'm a big data nerd. So I love dashboards because it makes things so easy, which Amazon does not get you normally.
Not yeah. We built out our own dashboards too. So like 100%. And I knew you were a data nerd. You're one of my people.
I just like scream data nerd. Like, I probably just like, just you can see. Oh, Victor, yeah, he's definitely a data nerd.
We're missing the bifocals with the tape in the middle.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. Is there anything else exciting, or any other topic you wanted to cover, or anything else exciting, either going into Q4 or anything else that you wanted to make sure we tackle today?
Yeah, so Amazon has a new feature I am super excited about. It's called the Content Creators Network. It's in beta now, and
Yeah.
it's truly game changer. So like on our end for a while, we've been figuring out like how to incorporate influencer marketing. And Victor, you do this way better than anyone else. But in my experience, where we were trying to build out a database, it was like herding cats. And I was recently on a call with a bunch of Amazon agency consultants, and I had to tell them a story on how we worked through a certain software for a mattress company. And I sent out like a dozen mattresses to these influencers, and about half of them got the mattresses, and I heard nothing from. So it ended up being a
Really?
very expensive experiment for Bella Vix. Um,
Hmm.
so the fact that they have this platform with a lot of these nuances already worked out, it's directly through Amazon. What I find with some of the other softwares, they still play in a gray area in terms of like search, find, buy, to getting using improper, what are they, two-step URLs and stuff like that. So you do have to be really careful, because a lot of these platforms are designed for like the general web. It's not against Google's terms of service, as far as I know, to just buy a bunch of reviews and put it on your website, but it does violate Amazon's terms of service. So, my big thing is like the fact that they're baking it into the dashboard and making it really easy for users to use, as well as like you can be confident that anything that takes place through the Amazon dashboard is going to be within Amazon's terms of service. So you never have to worry, if this software gets flagged because maybe you aren't using it improperly, but their other users were, are you going to get sunk with the rest of them as Amazon slowly rolls through and just kills a lot of these softwares and products. So I'm
Yeah.
personally really excited about it. It's in beta. We are rolling. We have submitted a bunch of our advertisers into the program. We're waiting to hear back. So probably in the next 3 months, hopefully by October, fingers crossed, I'll have access to it, and we'll be running some content creators. And for those of you, forgive me, I don't know if I explained it. What the content creation is, from what I understand, it links to TikTok. It's all the Amazon associates that are in the Amazon Associate Program, and you have the ability to create an order. It'd be like $5,000, 50 influencers. Here's my product, and they will submit an inquiry saying like, "Hey, I'm an influencer. I'm really interested, and I'll buy your product." You put some stuff in like create a video. It should have X, Y, Z. Make sure you talk about this. Do a packaging. So like it's like an influencer platform. You're able to do this, and then you're able to accept. They'll create the content for you. They'll buy the product, and then you'll approve the content before it goes live too. So you also get that content that you can use for your storefront, your social media, like anywhere else. Not to mention it's been a black box to get access to some of these Amazon associates. I know because I built
Yeah.
a database of Amazon Live influencers, and we just scraped Amazon Live and went one by one. So this is a game changer. This is next level for Amazon, and you could tell by the way I'm talking, I'm really excited about it.
Oh yeah, like definitely. Because right now it's a very manual process. It's very hard for brands to get in, and TikTok does a good job on their creator marketplace on to do this. But if it was already integrated with Amazon, it would really change the game on influencer marketing, and especially with all these different platforms that are utilizing. Like think about having an easy workflow if Amazon provided that. That would be amazing. But I mean, that is like super high level. Like that would take a lot of coordination on their side, which would be awesome. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Yes. And then we have another question from Ruben. Hi, Will. Have you ever used any platform like Amped or Landing Cube to generate external traffic to your listing through Google Ads?
Yes, we use Landing Cube. It was pretty effective. I tried a couple of the softwares. This is a few years ago, so I'll tell you what we used to do, and I'll tell you what we do now. So Landing Cube was pretty good. It was easy to set up. It was like a plug and play platform, and I liked it. We didn't have any issues. It was easy to set up ads. What we do now, since the brand referral program and not looking at Google Shopping ads because you can't do that through Amazon, we'll literally just set it up traditionally and link the brand referral link because it's a little easier, and we really steer clear from doing those promo pages at this point. At this point we don't put a lot of emphasis into Google or social. Most of our brands usually have a department that handles that, and we're hyper focused on the DSP aspect of it. We over and over again we've been able to use it to show value and show growth. So for us it hasn't been a service that we've really had to drill down, nor have we wanted to. And then we've had strategic partnerships with like Victor over here, who does and crushes it on social. So I would rather just, that's your wheelhouse. You're great at it. I'm happy just to refer clients over to Victor, let him crush it, and then come back to me and say, thank you for making that recommendation because this is what we were looking for.
Yeah. And Ruben, to answer your question, we use Amped all the time for Google Ads. I have used Landing Cube before. We progressed past that. The landing pages are kind of like scammy looking, to be honest. They look kind of sketchy. So I personally didn't like them. I used them for the longest time. Now I use Unbounce, which is an AI landing page builder that basically optimizes toward the best landing page automatically. So it'll show, hey, this person's coming from Google. I'm going to show this landing page. This person's coming from Facebook. I'm going to show them this landing page. So it has some really cool AI capabilities within Unbounce. It's a little bit more advanced, and it takes a pretty tech savvy person to set up, but usually it's worth it on the landing page side. So I would recommend Unbounce rather than Landing Cube. So that's the only difference I would make there. But unfortunately, that's all we have time for today. Will, thank you so much for coming on. Please tell them how to find you, your website, and everything associated with it.
Well,
Mhm.
Thanks for having me. This has been fun. I hope your audience took a lot of value from it. Find me on LinkedIn. You're probably watching this on LinkedIn. I post almost every day, and I'm pretty engaged on LinkedIn. So Will Haire, CEO of Bellavix. You can check out our website, bellavix.com. And feel free to shoot me an email, hello@bellavix.com. And thanks again, Victor, for having me. This was a lot of fun.
Thank you so much. Thanks you so much for coming on. Thank you everyone for watching. This is the Failures and Wins podcast. Thank you for coming.